Hey everybody, want to welcome you back to I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. I'm Slim,
And I'm Black once again.
and we're back. And for everyone out there who has been, listening to us for the last couple of weeks, we appreciate you for sticking with us. We are actually improving our sound. We found a new recording system and everything like that, and we've improved our sound. So thank you so much. We hope from here on out, just the sound just keeps getting better. So we're gonna keep working on it and getting even more better. So last podcast, we actually talked about John Wick, correct? Yeah, that was about the John Wick series.
Yep.
And after that, we were actually supposed to talk about the Star Wars series. And I wanted to get Black. Black, did you ever watch The Mandalorian?
Yes,
You
I
did.
watched
Okay, all
the
right.
first
So
three episodes.
okay, all right. So hold those thoughts. We're gonna talk about those the next time. The reason why I pushed the Mandalorian episode back is because I started watching a TV show that I thought was going to be good. I was so excited for this show, and I was so happy when I found out this show was actually coming out. And the only thing I can say is I'm slightly disappointed. So we're going to talk about some shows shows and movies that have disappointed us, that we wanted to see, and we actually started watching, or we did watch the whole thing, and we were just left kind of wanting from it. So the show that I'm going to talk about today is the Halo series. If you played the game, if you know anything about Halo, even if you watch the series, you're going to know why, and I'm going to go into details, a little bit of details. There are going to be some spoilers. Unfortunately, this is going to be current spoilers. So if you're currently watching the show, you haven't seen the show yet. If you don't want to hear spoilers, this may be an episode you want to skip. I hope you don't. However, I understand because there's going to be spoilers, really heavy spoilers on this one. So, but we're going to go ahead and start with Black. Black, go ahead and give me your pick movies that you felt would just didn't hit the mark, and they were adaptations of a video game or a book or something like that really just really upset you.
Well, I'm going to go all the way back here. A lot of guys, a lot of folks that listen to our podcast probably not as old as we are, but I'm going to go all the way back. I'm pretty sure most guys who play games, most guys and girls who play games, they're familiar with Double Dragon.
One of the funnest games that was with Nintendo.
One of the best.
Actually, it was more than Nintendo. It was on a couple of
Oh
systems,
yeah,
wasn't
it was all over the place.
Yeah.
One of the best side-scrolling beat 'em ups in the history of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a big Double Dragon fan back in the day, in the 90s. So long story short, they make a movie in 94, starring Billy and Jimmy, Double Dragon. And I'm thinking like, oh wow, man, this is gonna be real cool. And the movie it had nothing to do with anything the game, had to offer. The only thing it had was Billy and Jimmy, their names.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else about the game, everything else about the movie, it didn't relate to the game at all. So it just, I mean, the main plot of the game, the original game, I think it was Billy's girlfriend. Jimmy is Billy's brother. Billy's girlfriend gets kidnapped by this gang. You fight your way to the boss, to the gang's boss. There's a lot of twists and turns, depending on which one you're talking about, whether it's Double Dragon 1, 2, or 3. But the basis is that she gets kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
You got to fight your way to the boss. You go against all types of mini bosses before you get to the main guy, like most games. And the story, the story just was out of control. There's this big earthquake in the movie, and there was a lot of magic involved in the movie, and I'm like, there was no magic in the game, and there was no. I mean, there was. You would think, there was a lot of martial arts, there was very little martial arts in that movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be right. I mean, they could at least try to make it at least a little bit like the game. But I mean, where was the girlfriend at? That you didn't even see her either. Like Billy's
I
girlfriend.
remember
Is
there
she?
was a girl involved though, right? Because like they met her or something like that. Because like I remember seeing the movie. I just don't remember the full movie. I remember that it was nothing like I thought it would be, and I was not a fan.
Well, I, you know, I think yeah. You know what? Um, I think when it comes to I don't know if that was his girlfriend. They do mention Marion. You know, I had to go back and look. Um, but that wasn't his girlfriend. You know.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to remember who the girl was. So there is a girl in there,
Mhm.
and you said, and her name is Marion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I actually had to go back and look to see what they called her, and yeah, her name is Marion. She's in some type of special forces or something like that, and they go. And it's just it's. I mean, the story is all over the place. You know, when I watched the movie originally, I only watched half of it. I'm sorry, I got nauseous.
so okay, now I'm starting to go. It's starting to come back to me a little bit because, um, wow, the story's by Paul Dini. That's crazy.
Well, I mean that should be enough to tell you exactly why that movie ended up the way it did.
No, the reason why I'm saying Paul Dini. So I don't know if you know this. Paul Dini is uh a writer. He was involved in Batman the Animated Series.
No
So
way.
he was a producer and writer for that show. So I'm like, wow, like that's crazy that he was
I mean, was
he,
he the only producer for that
well, no,
show? I
he
mean,
was I mean no, for this he did the story
uh,
for this, which is
I'm
it's
talking about for,
crazy.
for for Batman the animated series.
Yeah, he was one of the producers
Okay,
for
because
the
he couldn't
show.
have been the only producer.
No, 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 no.
I'm
Yeah.
only saying that because of the product that he put out for Double Dragon. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just there's no way he was the only
Well,
producer because Batman the animated series is a whole different level.
he wrote an episode. He wrote episodes for He-Man Masters of the Universe. He wrote episodes for Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, um, Transformers Generation One.
Oh wow.
So he has a lot of hits and a couple of misses. Because he also wrote Star Wars Ewok animated series. um, but yeah, it's crazy that he did this story for Double Dragon. That is nuts, man. But going back to what I was saying, so I just looked it up, and yeah, so Alyssa Milano played the girl in there, um, and she was kidnapped. So, no, I'm sorry. Let's see, originally the kidnapped woman in arcade game film version of Marion is more active heroine. So, but yeah, Alyssa Milano plays Marion in the movie.
Got it. But she doesn't
So
get kidnapped. Isn't she like,
yeah, um, I don't think so. Yeah, man, I just remember. Let's see. This looks like power quote. So it looks like she's leader of vigilantes. That's what it is.
yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah, and she's daughter of police chief. Wow. Yeah, that's
See what
crazy.
I mean? I'm just gonna say that throughout this whole rant of mine. See what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead and
it.
continue on though. But that's it's so funny. I don't remember any of that, man. So I must have blacked that out.
I mean, I blacked it out. After I saw it, I just act like the movie didn't exist. Halfway through, I just said, man,
Hmm.
I actually I didn't go see it at the theater, so I'm glad about that. You
Hmm.
know, I was real young, so when you're real young, you want to go see a movie, you want to make sure that if I go see a movie, it's gonna be good. I wasn't too sure about that though.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, that's pretty much the reception of it. Was extremely unfavorable. Um, its critical acclaim was extremely. It had none. It had none. It was it was what the Washington Post called it. clumsily placed. I'm sorry, clumsily paced.
Yeah,
That's what they call it. Which means it's all over the place. You know, I mean, it's
yeah,
just the pacing of it is horrible. The storyline is horrible, and it should have never been. Some movies just shouldn't have never been made, and that was one of them.
yeah. That's definitely true. That one, and so like, and this goes into the overall of what I was trying to accomplish with this episode is it just seems like some of these movies and TV shows and things were created as money grabs, of course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm gonna go into it more about my thoughts. Again, these are just my opinions though, but I'm gonna go into it more about my thoughts and opinions on this when I talk about the Halo show. But it just seems like the people who made this movie didn't really care about the actual property. They really just wanted a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
So so as far as the Double Dragon movie, again, like I said, I don't remember a lot of it, but it's so funny, man. I almost want to watch it again just to see how much I remember, how much I don't. I do remember, like. So here's something else that's funny. Do you remember the Double Dragon cartoon?
No, I don't.
Yeah, the cartoon. I don't think it was too much like the movie either. The cartoon had to do with like swords and stuff, and that also had to do with some magic. So
Yeah,
now I'm
yes, there
starting to
was.
wonder if there was really magic in the game, but we just didn't pay attention. I mean, I
I
know it
don't.
was a beat
I
'em up.
don't think so because I don't think so because I remember Double Dragon 1. I mean, they did some. You know, they had some crazy moves, but they won't throw no fireballs or anything like that. I mean, there wasn't any. Some of the enemies you fight has like abilities that look like it's like magic. Like you fight the one guy in Double Dragon 2, and he kind of like he has this shadow. He can move real fast, and you got to be careful fighting him and stuff like that. You know, it looks like he got a little bit of magic, but
Mhm.
that's about it. I mean, Billy and Jimmy never did anything that had anything to do with magic.
Yeah. Well, this
I don't
this
know.
one also talks about like a mystical medallion and things like that. Where
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was never a mystical medallion. Yeah, you never got any of that stuff. You know, there weren't any trunks or anything like that. Um, that you opened to get anything magical. You just fought your way past certain enemies and stuff. You got to the end. You know,
that's hilarious. That is too funny. So, um,
you know.
it's crazy because the budget was the budget was $7.8 million, and
And
it
that's a
made 4.2 million in the box office. That was one. That's a crazy loss, man.
yeah. I mean, and 7 point something $1 million back then was a lot of money.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
a lot of money. It was cheaper to make movies back then, but then again, I
hmm
mean,
yeah.
it's
So,
I don't know.
um,
It
so
sucked.
you said you had a second movie that was bothering you?
Oh well, yeah, yeah. Both of these movies were made in '94.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you try to guess and see what movie I'm talking about. Um, it was made in '94, and it's a beloved franchise, just like Double Dragon was. Can you guess? Can you guess what it was?
I mean, are you talking about the Mario movie?
No.
Okay, it's not the Super Mario Brothers movie. Give me one more hint here. Is it like
Oh
is
yeah,
it
yeah. I'm give you one. I'm give
is
you a
it the
hell of a.
fighting another fighting movie?
It's a fighting game.
It's fighting game. So are you talking about Street Fighter movie?
Yes, the Street Fighter movie. The Street Fighter movie.
Okay, so I can elaborate on that one too. I can definitely elaborate on that one because I remember that one. Not every single detail, but I remember it way more than I remember Double Dragon. So go ahead and start talking about it, and I'll go ahead and throw in my points when you get to something.
Okay, so first things first. They made Guile the hero of that movie. Guile, Guile of all characters, Guile,
Hmm
and then and he's he's the leader of Special Forces, a group in that movie, and they're taking out all of Bison, who was played by Raul Julia,
Mm-hmm.
and most people know Raul Julia from the Addams Family, you know, and he played as the dad, in the Addams
Yeah,
Family,
Gomez.
Gomez. So everybody knows Raul Julia from that, but he played as Bison in that movie, and I'm like, okay, He- so I mean, just the guys they got to play the characters, it just was like. And then my favorite character out of Street Fighter game was Ryu. You know, I was a beast with Ryu, so I was really looking forward to him being in the movie. And him and Ken both had lame parts in that movie. You know, uh, I just and then they had Cammy, and Cammy was lame. Everybody was lame in that movie. I don't even want to talk about the storyline because it really doesn't matter in my opinion, because I mean it sucked anyway. But
Yeah.
you look to see some of the special moves that you see in the game. Like you saw Cammy's front kick, and the way she did it was lame. And John-Claude Van Damme, he played his guy, and
Yeah.
you saw him do the upside down, the flash kick where he
Yeah.
does the backflip, and he did it
Mm-hmm.
like 3 times in a row, and I was like, okay,
So something else I had about that is he didn't have the signature hair too.
he didn't have the
He just
signature
had
hair. He just he,
because I mean even one of Guile's moves is he kind of like brushes his hair and all that.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't. He didn't look like Guile. He looked more like a. He could have played if it was with John Claude Van Damme, which it was for Guile. He should have played as I could see him more of a Ryu character.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was more of a he's a martial art. You know.
Yeah.
So I see him more of a as a Ryu guy, and it was just weird the way they structured that movie, and the people they got to play that movie, with the I don't know, man. It was just bad. It was just a bad movie that shouldn't have been made. Just another one that shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, they
You
they
know?
got Ming-Na Wen to play Chun-Li, and I mean, so I I wasn't too upset about that because she's actually I like
Well,
she's a favorite actress of mine. She also played in Agents of Shield, and
mhm.
she's also in the Star Wars universe too. So um,
No, I ain't
but
mad about that. I
yeah,
ain't mad about Chun Li.
yeah.
Yeah.
She actually really did really good, and it's really cool because she's a geek.
Mm,
So she's gonna play a lot of these geeky roles as to her best of her ability. So, and you're gonna actually see her in the Mandalorian, especially when we talk about it. If you liked it enough to continue on watching the series,
oh no,
um,
no, I really liked it.
yeah,
I'm going to
so
continue watching it
yeah,
because
we'll
it
talk
was
about that too.
yeah, it
But
was badass.
she actually shows up as a dope assassin in that.
Mm,
But yeah, like I said, that comes up later. Um, but it was really cool seeing her, and yeah, she was actually a good Chun Li. I believe, in my opinion, I believe she played a better Chun Li than I can't even think of it. Kristen Krug, because Kristen Krug did the Chun Li movie.
yeah, the Legend of
And
Chun Li.
yeah.
Mm,
She actually played Chun Li better than Kristen Krug. And I mean, of course, the story in that movie was all outlined, like it was a deeper story involving Chun Li and more surrounding Chun Li, whatever. But still, I love Ming Na Wen as Chun Li for that.
mm.
But I also remember the way they try to get some of these characters for Street Fighter was just odd to me. Like they had oh, what is his name? They had oh, what I can't think of his name. Charlie. Charlie. They combined Charlie and Blanca together,
Mhm.
and they made it. They had Charlie turn into Blanca,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I was
It,
like,
like he was Beast off the X-Men or something. Come on
yeah,
now.
and I was like, why did they do it that way? That was just weird. And so, and I'm gonna butcher his name, but Dr. Doslim. They didn't just have him as like a character. He became that character later on after and it wasn't even that long. It was like right before the he died. They had him look just like the character from the game. Like they was just like, all right, well, this is how we're gonna do it. Is this? And and when I saw that, I was like, that was kind of I felt cheated, honestly, the way they did that. You know,
Well,
go ahead.
let me let me go ahead and clarify my hatred for this movie. Ken Masters and Ryu, his name is Ryu Hoshi.
Mm-hmm.
Ryu Hoshi. In that movie, they play as con artists. And,
Yeah, that was weird too. That was something that.
yeah, like they're hustling an arms dealer, and that's not their nature. From the game, Ryu wants to be the strongest.
Yeah, they're honorable. They're very honorable characters.
Yeah, they're very honorable characters. Why would you take that? You could tell the folks that make these movies, they've never played the game at all.
Yeah.
They have no experience with the game at all. And you could say the same thing for what you're about to talk about in the Halo series.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How much have they actually played the game? How much have they actually gone back in the story?
So I'm going to talk about that too, but I found out that only one of the actors in the series played the game. I got to do a little bit more research because as big as that game was, I really just one of the actors in there, so I got to find out, see who else, see everybody else. But I was told that, so I haven't actually looked that specific back up yet. But yeah, it's like I understand them signing up for this project to make money, but don't you? In my mind, if I was to sign up for something like that, I would be like, okay, I got to get this right, otherwise it could mess up my career in terms of fan hate. When you're part of a beloved series, and it's a giant series like the Gears of War series, right? Let's go into that really quick, because right now the person who wants to play Marcus Phoenix is a Gears of War fan.
Oh, there you go.
So with Dave Bautista, he loves Gears of War. He's passionate about this project, and he wants to play Marcus Phoenix. So we're going to get a very good Marcus Phoenix if he becomes Marcus Phoenix. He cares about that project. And honestly, from what people have talked about Dave Bautista and different things, I know that he's not just only going to care about himself playing Marcus Phoenix. By him loving that project, he's going to also try to make sure that the fans get a very good Gears of War movie / TV show, whatever. But as whatever he's in as that, and whatever he has his hands in that he can actually get, being a fan of the actual game, we've definitely got to. And he seems like the type of person. The way the way that other actors and things have said about him, the way different interviews I've listened to him, he seems like the person that will definitely assert his dominance in terms of, assert his opinion, I should say. And he will make himself heard, because when he's really passionate about something, he fights for it hard. And a lot of these different things that he's gotten, parts that he's played, he's actually put in so much work to make these parts so good. And if you've watched any of his have you watched a lot of things that he's done as an actor, Dave Bautista?
I was shocked that he's such a good actor, because I know him from wrestling. Obviously, that's where everybody knows him from.
Yeah.
But the first movie I saw him in, where it impressed me so much, his acting impressed me so much, was Knocking the Cabin. That was that M. Night Shyamalan. I butcher his name all the time.
Shyamalan, yeah.
Yeah. but that was that movie that was made by him,
Mhm.
and he played a really good role in that movie,
Okay.
you know, and I was impressed. So yeah, I'm happy to see that guy as Marcus Phoenix, man. That's exciting.
Yeah. So, so I've seen him in quite a different thing, quite a few different things. One of the most other recent projects that I've seen him that instantly comes to mind is he was in another one of those Knives Out project. I can't remember what the Knives Out sequel was, what the name of it was, but they were on an island. And he plays like this character where like he's all about like all American character in you know, quote unquote all American character, where he
Mm,
talks about guns and he's like, you know, big trucks and stuff like that, and you know he's a big personality and all this other stuff. And when you see him behind the scenes, you know, he's like a softie and trying to just get himself out there. He's like a big media influencer, but he's really just trying to get himself out there more so he can become more of an influencer.
mm,
And he played that part so well. And then from that part, the next movie that comes to mind that I recently saw him in was the Dune series. A completely different character. But he
mm,
made both of those characters so believable to me that I didn't really see Dave Bautista. I saw these actual characters that he was playing.
mm-hmm,
That character, I cannot think of the name of that character. But it was one of those one of the Harkonnens, I think they're called,
mm-hmm,
and he plays one of this one guy's nephew, and I'm blanking out on it right now because I didn't prepare for Dune. But you know, I love the movie. I'm not a hardcore fan where I can actually name every little thing about it, but
mm-hmm,
he plays one of the leader of the Harkonnens uh, uh, nephew, and his brother is played by Austin Butler. And to see the fear from him when he sees his brother and like the anger, like knowing that his brother's taken off. But he did all that with his facial expressions and very little words. And to watch him in these and then to see him actually go back and try to take over where the House Atreides was killed and all that and take over the area where they were at and everything. Dave Bautista did very good, and that's what I'm talking about. You have to have actors who care about the project.
mm-hmm.
So taking this back, um, you know, I don't want to just cut off here Street Fighter, but I understand, you know, like yeah, you were probably done with Street Fighter anyway.
I was.
Yeah, you were done with it in '94. So, um, taking this back, I want to bring up the whole Halo series. So, and this was the original reason why I wanted to talk about this specific topic with actors caring. So, like I was saying, I was told I haven't found any facts on that yet. I was told that the only person that was on the project uh, was that played it was the person who played Vanek, is the big black guy in the series. He just plays one of the four of the Halo squad. And I can't remember the squad color. I think it's like blue squad or something like that. But um, he plays one of the members of the Spartans, the four Spartans, and he played his character very well. However, you know, of course, he was basically subject to direction and all that, and everyone else in the project. He had to do what he had to do, you know.
Mm,
So I'm talking about Master Chief though. So the person who plays Master Chief is actor Pablo Schreiber, and for those who don't know, Pablo Schreiber, well, the first thing that I remember him in actually was I didn't know this until I looked it up later that he played in another show, but the first thing I remember him playing was he was in actually American Gods. That's the first
mm,
thing I remember. He played a leprechaun in American Gods. After I ended up kind of looking him up a little bit more, I ended up realizing that he actually played in Orange and New Black. Did you ever watch that series? It's about the ladies' prison. It was really big on Netflix.
Yeah. No, I didn't watch it. I mean,
Oh,
I've seen some. I've seen some clips from it, but
mhm.
no, it was. No.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I know what you're talking about.
he played this character. He was a correctional officer who ended up uh getting stuck. Like they set him up to make him think that he got a prisoner pregnant, and he really didn't. When it was another guard who got her pregnant.
Mm.
So yeah, but they called him Porn Stash in the show. So um, and I'm looking at other roles that he's played, and I'm sure that I've seen him in other stuff. Weeds. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So he's played in a couple other things. Dirt. I'm almost positive I could have seen him in Dirt because I think I watched every episode of Dirt. So uh, he's played in all these different projects, and I'm not counting that. I'm not saying that he's not a good actor. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I liked him in that.
Mm.
And as far as when it comes to the Halo project, it upsets me because it almost seems like, okay, he's doing this because this was a money grab for him. He knows that this is a very huge project in terms of Halo is has a massive following. It's a massive um, IP,
Mm.
and he knew that. Well, in his mind, he was like, "Oh man, if I can lock this role down, this can actually propel me even further than what I am." But doing so and now and I'm saying this with a grain of salt because I don't want to lay 100% blame on him. I really don't because there's other people, there's producers, there's the director, and all that other stuff like that. So, however, though, a lot of these actors, including possibly him, can have more of a say in what they do because they actually said that he tried to fight against one of the unnecessary scenes in the show, but lost. Um, so, you know, I just feel like he could have taken more of an interest in this show. One of the first things that he does that breaks off is, of course, he takes off his helmet. Master Chief almost never. Now, I'm saying he almost never because in the books and in parts of the game, he does take his helmet off. However, most of the time, people aren't around. It's almost like the Mandalorian, actually. But
Mm.
he doesn't take his helmet off. He lives in that suit. These suits are designed so you don't take your helmet off. However, in certain times, the Spartans have taken their helmet off to actually show people that they're actually human underneath these suits.
Mm.
Well, he does this uh, in my opinion, he does this to kind of get more face time of the character. And an actor who feels like they need to do that should not be part of the project. If you're in a project where your character is mostly wearing a mask and you fight to make sure that mask comes off so people can see your face and know who you are, then just don't be part of the project, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like you're going to alienate the people who really truly love that project. And it's not even just about him taking off the helmet and all that, because they actually have like a whole session where he's like fighting without the suit, and there's a whole bunch of different things, and like some of the different things that they do in this show, it just doesn't make sense to me. There's a whole book and there's a movie called The Fall of Reach, and they actually did the Fall of Reach project for one of the episodes, and it was, to me, it was a good episode, but it wasn't Halo. And it really bothered me. It really bothered me because, like I said, I really truly enjoyed the episode, but through the whole episode, Master Chief does not have his suit on. He does not have his suit on through that whole episode, and I'm
What?
like, that doesn't make sense. But the very start of the series is so dope because when you first see the Spartans come in, when you first see the Spartans come in, man, the way they take on those alien, the Covenant, who
Mm.
attacks this small little village, it is straight out of the game. It's straight out of the books. It's straight out of the other movies that have been made. And there has been other movies made. There's Halo Legends. There's the Fall of Reach movie, like I said, and there's also Forward Unto Dawn, which is that is what the Halo series should be. But this series itself, to me, as usual, like I do, I enjoy it for what it is.
Mm.
It's just another show that wasn't there before, and it's taken something that I like, and it has actually just brought it to me and said, "Here, this is kind of like what I have for you if you want to see it." So again, I'm not going to. I don't want to completely 100% bash this show. I just wish that they would actually consider their fans more, because it's it is it is really good, and it's a great. I don't want to call it a war drama, but it is basically a war drama, and it's it's a space. It takes a couple different aspects and elements of different genres and meshes them all together. You got great space stuff, you got great war stuff, soldier stuff, family. There's an element of family in there, so the all the different sci-fi and just regular stuff actually is really really good, and they do it very very well, and I really like the way they do that. The only thing that's bothering me though is what are you trying to do for the fans? Because it just seems like you're doing this your way just for the money, and the really only thing you wanted to do was kind of take the primary story elements and just kind of work from that. So, I really wish you had actually have played the game before, because honestly, the game is actually really good, and when you play the game, the stories that are in the game are actually pretty cool too. So, do you know the basics of the story, of the Halo story?
I know some. I know some. But you're the master though. So you're gonna have to. I mean, I know a little bit. I know about the Covenant, and they're they're the original. We mentioned them earlier. They're the original enemy.
Hmm.
And I heard Halos. The actual Halo is something outside in outer space.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. That and that's what they're really fighting over. The actual Halo. You know, that's. I mean, I've only done a little bit of research on Halo because when Halo Infinite came out, I
Hmm.
was gonna go back to all
Okay.
the Halos and play 'em. And I said, well, let me see what this is actually about. So I won't be totally lost if I play Halo Infinite, which I
Mhm.
never got around to doing. But
Okay.
I read a little bit about it. I'm just not too familiar.
Yeah. Well, we're actually working on that. We're actually going to we're gonna start playing that game again. I have to download it, and I've been saying this for a minute. I need to re-download all the Halos. We're gonna start with, I believe, the Fall of Reach first, and then we're gonna play Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up to Infinite.
Mm,
Um, we're supposed to do that, and we just haven't yet. Um,
right.
but yeah, you're correct. So the basics of Halo is the human race and the Covenant are both trying to get to this Halo to get power that they believe that is there. And the Covenant thinks that it's some kind of they see it. The Covenant see it as more of a religious experience. The
Mm,
Covenant see this as a religious experience. The humans know that it's a very powerful weapon, and they're trying to get it out of the Covenant's hand. The
mm,
Covenant are basically almost, for a regular human, are pretty much almost unbeatable. When you get the Spartans involved, that's when it evens the playing field. But
mm,
the Spartans have been like reduced greatly from what they were, because the Spartans were originally created because the humans were in a civil war, basically fighting insurgents, um, insurrectionists, and they just called them innies. And it was just different people who were fighting against the united colonies of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, after like in the middle of this fight, they had like the war going on. That's when the Covenant attacked, and they started doing what they call glassing the planets. They take these giant apex beams and just shoot down on the planet, and it turns it all into like glass because it's so hot it melts the whole planet and turns it into glass. So they call it glass planet.
Oh wow, they had their own little Death Star. Well,
Yeah, yeah, and it's on some of their major ships, so that's even wilder, you know.
wow.
So, uh, in doing this, in between the fights for trying to get to the Halo, they end up finding out that the Halos were created because of the this organism called the Flood. It's a parasite,
Mm-hmm.
and so the Covenant still keeps trying to get to the Halos for the Great Journey, and the humans they're trying to get to the Halos to stop the Covenant, but they're also trying to stop the Flood. And they end up finding out that's what the Halos were created for, was to stop the Flood. You take away the Flood's food, which is any living organism, the Flood can take over, and you take away their food, and the Flood dies off. Well, they were ended up being brought back to life, and I can't remember if it was because of humans or because of they were either brought back by humans or the Covenant or somebody. Somebody brought them back to life, and I can't remember how in the actual story.
Mm-hmm.
This ends up coming back later on in the actual series, though, because you see that the humans end up releasing the Covenant in the series. So, the Flood. The humans end up releasing the Flood in the series. So that's actually pretty cool. They did very well on that. um, I wanna kind of wrap up my little rant here, and because I want to talk about the good things they did, but I want to start off with talking about the stuff that kind of annoyed me a little bit. One thing that annoyed me is like the way they made Master Chief seem like he's somebody who just always ignores orders to a point. Like after he had this like a control chip or a little pill or something like that in his neck, whatever. He dug it out, and once he dug it out, uh, he was like, okay, he didn't listen to orders. That was totally not Master Chief. Master Chief listened to orders. However, he was smart about his orders,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of bothers me a little bit. Of course, they actually had an actual sex scene in there. Master Chief had sex with somebody. That would never happen in the game or the books. In the books, they actually did have sex scenes in there, but not like a lot. It was like maybe like 2 or 3. But anyway, that's something that, again, it wasn't surrounded the Spartans.
Mm-hmm.
The Spartans, their lives are about duty. That's what they are. So their enhancements, everything they're going, they've been trained since they were children, all about duty. So either way, that bothered me a lot, and you know what? It's so much that I don't want to do a two-parter for this, but I'm gonna just go ahead. There's like a lot of stuff, and I can start nitpicking because of the fanboy in me, but I'm not going to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually start saying the good things I do like about this show. Again, it was a really good story. The story itself is good. I don't like. I'm gonna say this too. I have to say this now. I don't like they killed off some major characters from the story, but and one of the major characters is actually infected by the Flood. So I don't like that, but I do like how they actually show Spartan who failed out or who left the program. I do like that, and they talked about a lot. They actually more than one Spartan because what happened is after the Spartans were enhanced, if the enhancement didn't take, then some of them were actually shipped off and did different things here or there. So they actually showed a couple Spartans in like regular life and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like how you see all the different planets, you see the different weapons, you see a lot of stuff that you would recognize from the actual Halo story. So that was done so well, and I like that. Um, and I mean, like I said, I can still be nitpicky and say a lot of stuff I don't like, but I don't really don't want to turn this into a bashing session completely because I don't
Right.
want to stop anyone from watching the show. because again, this is actually a very good show.
Well,
They
I
did
mean
take
that.
the time. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say real quick. For those of you who have not played the game and who have watched the show, uh, the the uh the reviews are just off the charts. People love that show.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just
Yeah.
Halo fans are a different breed, baby. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
and that's the thing. See, so it's getting so much different feedback and criticisms. So that's why I wanted to say I don't want to discourage anyone from watching this show. Um, but I just feel I just wish they cared more about the fans, you know?
Hmm.
It's almost like I want to go to them and say, why do you hate the fans? And I saw that somewhere. It's like, why does Halo hate its fans or something like that? Or why does the Halo series hate its fans? You know,
Hmm.
it's. I just want. I want the. I want more of a direction towards it. Unfortunately, they said that this is going to be in. This is a alternate universe. So that's their little way of getting out of everything is saying alternate universe. Of
every
course.
every si- every single time they make a show or a movie and they kind of like go in their own direction, they say, "Oh, this is just an alternate universe."
Yeah.
They did the same thing with the Joker because they was wondering, they were what they were doing was they said that they were uh like how they made the Batman. I think
Mhm.
I forgot which one was first. I think the Joker movie was first.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
The Joaquin Phoenix
Yeah.
Joker movie came out first, and
Okay.
then the
So
Batman came out last year.
yeah. So everyone's asking, well, how come is Joker going to be in the Batman? And they said, no, this is just an alternate universe Batman movie.
Mhm.
I'm like, huh? I like, well,
They always
whatever.
do that. They
But
always
but
do
but
that.
I was upset that he wasn't in there. But I'm just throwing that out there, man. But
Yeah.
they always say alternate universe. That's their
Mhm.
excuse.
Yeah, and they did that so they can actually get away with a lot of stuff that they wanted to do. So I really wanted to know what they were thinking in terms of why they didn't want to follow the storyline. They have one of the best Halo stories available to them, The Fall of Reach. The whole Fall of Reach book is actually movie worthy.
Hmm.
And even the movie the animated movie that they did doesn't completely touch everything that goes on in the book, of course. So they could actually follow the book and have an amazing story. They also have, even if they don't want to follow Master Chief, they actually have many other stories that don't even involve Master Chief. So
Hmm.
you could have done so much different things. Why did you choose to do this and do this your way? Is what I want to know. So I want to be able to enjoy this more than I do, be, because it's it's a good telling of the story to a point, you know. So I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm not gonna stop watching it
Yeah.
because I'm not one of those toxic fans. I'm definitely not a
Right.
toxic fan. I don't think, oh man, this needs to be trashed. No, because if you trash it, right, like then what? Like, how does that make you happy by having it trashed?
That's true.
They might
That's
even
true.
go back and turn around and do the story.
Hmm.
So just just in my opinion, just let it be, let it continue on and see where it goes. And there may be other things coming down the pipe that they might try to do. You know, I do like how Master Chief connects with people. And that was one of the reasons why the actor says that he takes his helmet off is, so you can actually see his emotions and his facial expressions and things like that. However, there's this movie called Forward Onto Dawn, Halo 5 Forward Onto Dawn. And it was basically kind of a promo. It started off on the web and they did, I think, 4 or 5 promo shorts to put it and ended up putting it together in one movie. Through that whole series, um, it's so good. You see the Covenant attack. I actually recently just watched it in prep for this. You see the Covenant attack when Master Chief shows up and everything that he does in that movie. You can still see the emotion of a soldier in that movie without him taking his helmet off. He never takes his helmet off not once. Now, the other part of his team, his squad, they actually take their helmets off at one point when they're on the back of the Pelican. They take their helmets off at the end so they can show the kids we're human. Well, like I said, this is what the Spartans do sometimes. They do take their helmets off when they're around other soldiers, other people, to kind of calm their nerves and say, we're humans just like you.
Mm.
And then, in fact, for Forward Unto Dawn, this is one of the times where the Spartan kids are actually still kids. They're younger when they're first turned into a Spartan. It's around that time. And when they take their helmets off, one of the other kids who they rescue say, how old are you? And then the girl just says, it's classified. Because by the time they become Spartans, they're like late teens, early 20s.
Mm.
So they're really young because they're kidnapped when they're 8 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that movie was done so good. And the whole time Master Chief is in his suit, in his helmet, white and everything. You can tell the emotions that he's giving off in the soldiers. At one point, someone dies, and Master Chief even gives his condolences, and it's kind of a cold condolence, but not really.
Mm.
And it's just like it's only cold because they're still in the heat of battle. And one of the other soldiers' friends just died, and he's just like, I'm sorry. But the way he did it, like I said, it's kind of cold, but you get that feeling because they are still in the heat of battle, and they have to get to the Pelican to get off of this planet.
Mm.
So, yeah, saying that, I got to take my helmet off so you can see my emotions, I think that's a cop out. I think that's a cop out to him to say so you can just see his face, honestly. And there's just so much more involved, but we're definitely going to come back to this because eventually, hopefully, you'll actually get to see the series and kind of see some of the different things I was talking about. See what let me know what you like about it. I want to see more of what season 3 has to offer. Season two just finished up. So it was like I say, it was decent. It was decent, and I was able to enjoy it for what it is. But I do want to know, for anyone who's listening, what are your thoughts on the Halo series? What are your thoughts on different movies like Double Dragon and Street Fighter? Any types of movies that was an adaptation of a video game or something else that you felt missed the mark?
I got a couple honorable mentions.
Okay.
Here. Here's something that our listeners may be more familiar with. Mortal Kombat. And then Mortal Kombat Annihilation. There you go. Honorable mention. I'm done.
Yeah. So actually, all the Mortal Kombat. But then again, I haven't played the game recently, so I don't know how close the newest Mortal Kombat is to the games. So
I will say the newer movies are better than the older ones.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that. I would say that because I saw the new Mortal Kombat movie and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. But the old one, the way they did Reptile and all, I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. I know that
Give me a
one.
break.
I remember you talking about that one though.
Yeah. We had mentioned it in one of our earlier podcasts.
Yeah, you definitely so.
I hated that crap. There you go. For
right.
those of us who, those of y'all who hated that, there you go. I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, let us know what you think. Tell us about different stories that kind of bothered you, different stories that you watched, or a game that you played that somebody turned into, like Sonic. I haven't seen a Sonic movie. Some people may or may not like that. Pokemon. I thought the Pokemon movie was funny, but I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I can't really speak on it too much. So let us know what you think. Give us some of your movies, your games, different things like that. Let us know all the different stuff, anything that you liked, anything that pissed you off, anything that that kind of touched your heart, whatever. So, Black, you got anything you want to tell anybody?
Well, I'm just just getting away from our actual subject. Really enjoying Dragon's Dogma 2.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody that's actually playing that game, uh, hope you guys are enjoying it too. It's a really good game. Um, of course, I still play my Starfield on the weekends. I got to get away from these RPGs, man. They take too much time. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
playing a lot of Doom Eternal, some of the expansions that I bought for it. I
Mm-hmm.
got to get away from these RPGs, man.
Yeah.
Not Starfield though.
I gotta I gotta get back on my system because I recently was supposed to play a couple different games, but I tried to get on and the batteries to my controller was dead. It wasn't working. So I
Mm.
need to also get a rechargeable battery, a better one than I have. But the one I have is decent. It just dies fairly quickly, so I just gotta upgrade it. I think it's like 2 or 3 years old. It's one of those, so it has so many charges. But anyway, I'm gonna get back into games. Oh, check this out though. I recently fired up my old Xbox 360.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because so my wife loves Rock Band, and the original game, basically, so on my daughter's Xbox 360,
Mm-hmm.
we've had the game on there, but it doesn't have all the other downloads. So
Right.
you could actually get Rock Band 1, 2, and 3. And on my Xbox 360, I ended up paying before they shut down the servers. I paid for it, so I have all three on the hard drive on my console, but I couldn't move it over to my daughter's console,
Mm.
which had like Wi-Fi and all that other stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I couldn't do that to her console. So basically, I fired up my console just to see if all the songs were still there, and I was able to play them. And sure enough, I was. So I'm gonna be playing Rock Band on that. We're probably gonna have a game night. So I'm gonna have to tell you about that. If you feel like coming by, play game night with us, play some Rock Band.
Yeah. I don't know about Rock Band, but I will say this much. Uh, get excited about that. Being
Mm-hmm.
that Xbox now, owns Activision. You know who that's who made that game.
Oh, okay.
The those publishers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're thinking about making a new. A lot of guys when they bought Activision, a lot of Xbox players was like, "Y'all need to bring back Rock Band.
Oh,
Y'all need to bring back
nice.
Rock Band," because
Yeah,
all
that was
Activision
pretty
was
dope.
focused on was Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But they need to bring back some of their old IPs,
Mm-hmm.
like Rock Band. A lot
Yeah.
of guys want Tony Hawk back. You
That would
know,
be. Oh wow, Tony Hawk.
yeah,
That would be dope. That would be so dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens. That'd be great. We need to see some old IPs come back, man.
Hmm.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That would be exciting. That would be really exciting. All right, everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it right here. But like I said, please let us know your thoughts. And actually, if you can reach out, if you want to reach out to us for anything, you can always email us. Toldmywife@gmail.com. Sorry, toldmywifepodcast@gmail.com. That's the one you want. toldmywifepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Told My Wife Podcast, at Told My Wife Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. We've got a link tree up, so if you go to our Instagram, our link tree is on there. That can actually show you all the different ways. We've got we're actually on YouTube now. We don't have video yet. We're working up towards video, but not yet.
Mm.
But you can still listen to us on YouTube podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Pandora. Google Podcasts are about to go away. So if you're a Google Podcast listener, I'm sorry, it's about to go away, but there's many other options you can find us on. And I believe Stitcher just went away a little while ago, so you're not going to be able to find us on Stitcher. Anyway, so many different ways to reach us. Instagram, at Told My Wife Podcast. Facebook, I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. Gmail, hit us up. Told My Wife Podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know any of your thoughts about the video games turned into shows and movies, or you could tell us about another different topic that we've talked about in the past already. You can actually give us ideas of things that you want to hear. We would love to hear from the fans and tell us, what you like, what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. So any of that, hit us up, and we'd appreciate hearing from all of you. Everyone who has been listening, thank you so much. Who's continued to listen. Our sound is getting so much better, and we are actually improving. We just have a couple more things to do, and our sound should be peak after like the next couple of episodes, one to two episodes or so.
Well,
So,
our listeners just want you to know, and this is from Black. That's been all Chris. I'm the ignoramus when it comes to this technical stuff. So Chris getting me right. Chris got me right.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm trying to just make sure that everyone gets the best experience from us, so they can keep coming back. They can go and tell a friend. So if you tell a friend, please, just let them know that to get through those couple of episodes where we did have a couple little bit issues, but like I said, everything's getting much better now. And you can also tell them that yes, we plan on getting to Gears of War, because Gears of War 6 was not officially announced, but they said that it's going to be announced.
It's coming.
It's coming.
That's all I got. I mean, you already know that their Xbox showcase they do in June. They're gonna show it. They're gonna show it. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we've got a little bit of Star Wars to talk about and to play. So I got to get Black on the console so we can actually play a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront, and we can actually check out different other Star Wars stuff. And I can't wait to talk to you about The Mandalorian, because like I told you, it was dope.
It is good.
Yes, it's very good.
It is
and
good.
I'm so happy that you saw it. So, all right. But until then, until our next one, look out. We're gonna try and get one more episode to you in April if we can. But if not, look out for us in May. So, but until then, I'm Slim.
And I'm Black.
And we want to say thanks for listening.